Fethullah Gulen seems to me to be one of the most intelligent and wise authorities on the planet right now, as far as I'm concerned. He is a moderate and compassionate voice of Islam. The activities that I've been involved in have been just a great experience. My name is Roxanne Stoehr. I am on the faculty at Southeastern Louisiana University. I'm a speech-language pathologist, and I teach and I do clinical supervision at the university. I'm married, and I have a son and a stepson and a stepdaughter. And I'm originally from New Orleans, and now I live in Hammond, Louisiana. I got to know the Hizmet Movement through the Atlas Foundation. What happened to me is one day I was in my office and a young man from Turkey came in and invited me to an end of Ramadan feast. He was a graduate student at my university, and he had an invitation, and he handed it to me, and he was very charming and very polite, and so I ended up going to the feast, and I found out more about Turkey, more about Islam, and I ended up becoming a friend of this young man. The Hizmet Movement, to me, is one of the most interesting organizations that I've ever been personally involved in. I find it extremely progressive and open-minded and compassionate. The people that I've met have always been so gracious and warm and really loving. And everything that I've learned about it has been very positive for me. I think that it's a powerful organization that's doing a lot of good, really all over the world, from what I understand. It's opened my eyes and helped me to understand so much more about Islam and about Turkey, and I'm just very, very grateful that I was introduced to the Atlas Group, which is the local Hizmet organization in Louisiana. Fethullah Gulen seems to me to be one of the most intelligent and wise authorities on the planet right now, as far as I'm concerned. He is a moderate and compassionate voice of Islam. I consider myself a Christian, but all of the readings that I have done of Fethullah Gulen's, I relate to what he's saying. I've never read anything that makes me feel that he is saying that Islam is the only true religion, or that if you don't believe in Islam, that you have a problem. I relate to what he says. Even though I'm a Christian, I feel like we have very compatible views, worldviews about religion. Everything that I have heard of read, anything that I've heard him say, everything I've read of his has been very positive, and he's promoting dialogue between cultures and between religions, and I just think that's very important, and I'm glad he is doing what he's doing. Fethullah Gulen and the Hizmet Movement is promoting dialogue. They are promoting dialogue between cultures and between people of different religions. What I think they're trying to do is help people accept each other, to be respectful of each other's culture and religion, and to understand people better. There's so many things that the Hizmet movement is doing. It's hard to pinpoint one particular thing that's important, but some of the things are the organizations that have sprung up around the United States, and I understand all over the world, where people come together from different religions and learn about each other. And the more you learn about people, then any fear that you might have had or misunderstandings that you might have had about other cultures and about other religions begin to drop away, and people begin to understand each other better. And that's what I feel like Fethullah Gulen and the Hizmet movement is trying to do. Help people get along and help people problem solve and talk to each other. And that's so important, especially in this day and age. That's what we need, and that's what he's doing. In addition to all of his writings and his speaking, there's also an educational aspect to what he is doing, and there's schools all over the world. Well, I know there's lots of Gulen schools in Turkey. I have visited several of the Hizmet schools when I was in Turkey, and I was very impressed with them. My son and I, along with all the other people in the group, got to meet many of the teachers in the school and the staff of the school, and we had lunch at the schools. We got tours of them, and I was very impressed with them. All of the professionals there seemed so dedicated. They were so kind to us, and we just really enjoyed visiting. I think I saw about at least a dozen schools when I was there. It kind of reminds me of the Quaker Friends School that we have in the United States. I got the sense that the children were learning not just about math and language and science, but they were learning how to be really good, compassionate people. I was very impressed with the Gulen schools. I feel that the Hizmet movement and Fethullah Gulen himself represent a moderate and compassionate face of Islam. People have a lot of confusion about what Islam is and what Muslims are like. And in my experience, of course, the only Muslims I have ever met have been involved in the Gulen movement. And I tell my Christian friends that the Muslims that I have met in the Fethullah Gulen movement seem more Christ-like than most of the Christians that I know and that I've met. And I've met a lot of Muslims now through the Hizmet movement, and they are the face for me of what Islam is, which is compassionate, loving, inclusive, and supportive people. The Hizmet activities that I've been involved with have been just a great experience. I have enjoyed every single one that I've ever gone to. The local chapter is called, or the local organization here in Louisiana is called Atlas. And I have been going to Atlas dinners and Atlas festivals and performances for years now, and I really consider it one of my favorite organizations that I'm involved in. I've gotten to know people and their families, and we've shared our customs. I also went to a wonderful Muslim-Christian dialogue series that was just really fascinating and so enjoyable. We took turns going to the Atlas Foundation Center, where the people from Turkey fixed dinner for us. And then the next time the group met, we went to an Episcopal church where the local American New Orleanians fixed dinner, and we talked about our various denominations and our religions, and shared information about traditions, religious traditions, and we got to know each other. And it has been and continues to be a really big part of my life. I love it. I am aware that the Hizmet movement is very involved in disaster relief, for one thing. That I don't know all the different activities that are involved, but I do know that this local chapter at Atlas, that they responded to several disasters that have occurred over the world over the last 8 years or so that I've been involved with the Hizmet local organization. And I know one time there was a big disaster, I think it might have been the tsunami, and there was a big yard sale at the Atlas Center, and I brought my mom, and we went and bought a lot of things, and I was so impressed because they were people from Turkey who had come to the United States, and they were reaching out and wanting to do what they could and in their part to be able to respond to this disaster. And I was really impressed with the energy and the amount of money that they raised for the disaster relief. And that really impressed me a lot. I can't imagine the Hizmet movement getting any criticism. Everything that I've learned about it's so good. It's doing so much good. Maybe some people are skeptical and they can't believe that an organization could be as good as it is, and they might say something like, it's good to be true, too good to be true, but I'm here to tell you that they are as good as people say they are. Everyone that I've met that's been involved in the Hizmet movement is so compassionate and so loving and so fun too. I've met so many people who are in the Fethullah Gulen organization that have been so warm and gracious and welcoming, and it just seems like their heart is in the right place and they're doing so much good around the world. And if there's any criticism, then the people really don't know what they're talking about.
Mr. Gulen states that education is a solution for poverty, ignorance, and internal conflict. He also states that through education and personal development, we can build better societies.
First, I perceive the movement as a joining together of the past, the present, and the future.